Hi guys, so welcome to this series on introduction to data analysis. Here in our initial videos, we've done an introduction to sourcing data, and then of course talking about the philosophy around data analysis. On today's video, we're going to be looking at the Pandas data structure. So basically, Pandas is a data analysis tool, right, that basically has a lot of functions and methods that allow you manipulate data in tabular functions or in tabular structures. But it's important to understand the analogy around what Pandas stands for as a data model, right? So basically what we'll be talking about here is we say we'll tell at the core of Pandas, right? So at the core, Pandas has two data structures. So it has two data structures, and it's important to understand these two data structures, right? And these two data structures are known as a data frame. So the data frame has two dimensions, right? So it's it's 2D basically, but you could call that dimensions. And the 2D is basically rows and columns, right? So that's the first one. Now the second one, which is a series, is 1D, right? So here we just have a column, it's 1D, and here we just have columns. Sometimes it just looks like it's 2D, but basically the first thing you're seeing is the index, right? So I need you to basically think of this Pandas data frame as, with the analogy of a spreadsheet, the Excel spreadsheet that and then you see that it has rows and columns. And again, I'm not going to leave you here without telling you what this is about. Now we have created, so we can look at what we've created. Basically, we've created Titanic data, right? So Titanic data, if we use the head method, will show us the first 5 rows, right? You can see that shows us the first 5 rows of the data we sourced. So the Titanic data is basically out there, especially on cargo, and you can even see it in the repository of Seaborn, which is a visualization tool. We'll talk about that in future, right? But now you see that here this data has columns. You can see columns. It can also be called features, right? And also on this side, you can see that there's an index, but this index is also, there's, if you look at this horizontally, you can see that we have rows in them. Now that's what the 2 dimensions we're talking about, right, is. So that's why if I use the attribute shape, the attribute shape is going to tell us we have 2 things here, right? You can see the first one, which is referred to as axis, like this. It's referred to as axis, right? So there's axis 0 and there's axis 1, right? Axis 0 refers to rows, and 1, let me see, axis 1 refers to columns, right? So this has two rows and columns, so that's why it's 2D. Then if I want to create, so this is basically a data frame, right? This is a data frame, right? And in case you're just trying to be sure, you can always use the type class to find out what that is. So if I put Titanic data here, it tells me that this, you can see the last part is the data frame. Now onto series. I'll get a series by using a square a square bracket to index one of these guys. You see that? I can index one of these guys, so I could choose to take out, say, sex, which is a feature in this column. You can see it. Now with this, if I use the head function to look at the first 5, you can see that what I have going on is this. You can see it just picks out this. Now it's one dimension. This is just the index, just one dimension. So this is a series, right? And if I say, let me give this a name. Let me say series underscore Titanic. And then I just basically copy this here. And then I put it here. So you can see this, and then I put this. Now if I check this series Titanic for its shape, you can see that it just wants stuff here. Like, see, just the axis 0, and which is the rows, which is just a column, not the axis. Basically, this is just tells us that I just have 891, rows. But what it means is I just have one column inside of it, and that one column is for sex, which is the gender, right? And that's just what it's one dimension. So basically, you can analyze these two the data using these two main data structures, right? And then you can perform different analysis. You can consider the columns you're working with, and then see if you're going to be dealing with them as a data frame or as a series object. As we go on, we're going to look at different things you can do with a series and a data frame, so that we can get our foot through the door, trying to understand data analysis and try to use one of the most popular data analysis library in Python towards understanding data analysis, towards ensuring we understand the logical techniques and the statistical techniques in analyzing data.